Hi everybody, my name's John Harrop from aptistutor, the place to come for all things Aptis related. And today we have an example of the Aptis Advanced Writing with sample C1 answers. Okay, so you are a member of a history club. You are talking to 3 other members in the history club chat room. Talk to them using sentences. Remember, use 30 to 40 words per answer. Don't use less than 30. And answer all 3 questions. We suggest you take around 10 minutes to do this part. So, hi, welcome to the club. I was interested in history at school and I studied it at university. What about you? Hi Sam. Interestingly enough, history wasn't something I was into when I was really young. But after seeing the film Gladiator, I became totally obsessed with ancient Rome. I even took up Latin and ended up studying classics. Okay, so let's have a look at some of the vocabulary that we've used. We said to be into something. This is an informal, chatty way of saying to like and be interested in something. The example here is, I was into judo when I was young. And the question is, what type of music were you into when you were young? What type of sport were you into when you were young? Right, let's move on. And then there's the phrasal verb to take up something. This means to begin to do something, usually a hobby or a course. Example is, I took up Latin about 10 years ago. Question could be, have you taken up any new hobbies recently? Yeah, I've taken up Pilates, or I've taken up weightlifting, okay, or I've taken up whatever the hobby is. And to end up doing something is when you do something you didn't originally intend to do. So in this case, the speaker said, I ended up studying classics. So originally, the speaker was going to study biology or chemistry or history, but ended up studying classics. So the speaker finished by doing something different. Welcome. Can you tell me something about the history of your country? Well, in the first millennium... in the first millennium BC, there was a lot of immigration from continental Europe, and the Celts established themselves. Then, after that, there was the Roman conquest of the British Isles, and they stuck around for about 350 years. Okay, so remember, the Roman conquest is in capitals because it's a historical event. And then we've got the verb to stick around. It could be to stick around someone or somewhere. And again, this is an informal way to say to remain near or in or near a place. So the Romans stuck around for around 350 years. As another example, do you want to stick around after dinner? So you're asking the person, do they want to stay either in the restaurant or in the place where they're eating after dinner? Okay, and who is your favorite person from history and why are you interested in him or her? I'd say Leonardo da Vinci, the Italian polymath, as he left such an amazing legacy. He was such a trailblazer, designing functioning robots, digital computers, and even building the first heart valve. He was so ahead of his time. Okay, so a polymath is a person who knows a lot about many different subjects. This is an all-round genius and not just about one thing. Also, he was a trailblazer. So this was a person who is the first to do or to discover something. And so this makes it possible for other people to follow. And finally, Da Vinci was ahead of one's time. He was too advanced or modern to be understood or appreciated, especially things like designing robots, digital computers, and heart valves. Remember, a lot of people at this time, they couldn't even read. Okay, it's part 2. This is the formal email. So you have received this email from your local supermarket. Read the email and the notes you have made and write a reply using all the information in your notes and express how you feel in the situation. You should write between 120 and 150 words. Okay, so the 2 main things is the reply using the information, all the information, and also express how you feel. And remember, 120 to 150 words, please write not less than 120. And we suggest it takes you around 15 minutes. Dear customer, thank you for shopping at our supermarket. We value your custom and we would like to hear about your most recent shopping experience. Firstly, we want to know your opinion of our staff. Were they able to help you in any way? We would also like to know what you think about the organization of the store. Was it easy to find the products you wanted? Finally, we would like to hear your suggestions for improving the customer shopping experience. Yours faithfully, Customer Services. Okay, and the numbers 1, 2, and 3, they refer to the notes. And remember, these notes you have to include in the reply. Okay, so you don't use the same words. So look at the notes and think of synonyms and put them in the reply. Okay, so there's the 3 things here that they're asking you to reword or to rephrase. Customer Services. I am writing in response to your email requesting customer feedback. Firstly, during my latest visit, I found the staff well disposed towards customers. However, they are not well informed about the products, which I feel is not helpful. I understand that many are students who are only working part-time. Could they not be given more training? Regarding store layout, I find it frustrating never being able to find the items I need. It seems to be your policy to circulate basic necessities such as bread, probably in order to boost sales by forcing customers to walk past products they may otherwise not see. I would appreciate you moving things around less frequently. Finally, I wish to address the irksome elevator music constantly playing in the background. I would suggest you get rid of it altogether. I trust you will find my feedback useful. Yours faithfully, John Harrop. Okay, so we've started with the Dear Customer Services and giving a reason for writing. You talk a little bit about your latest visit and how the staff were well disposed towards customers. So if you're well disposed towards somebody, you have a positive or a sympathetic way towards them. Okay. Then We talk about the store layout, and and we talk about the way that you have to, the way the supermarket circulates goods, such as bread, in order to boost sales. So to boost is to increase the sales. And what this does is also forces customers to walk past products they might not otherwise see. And finally, I wish to address the irksome elevator music. So irksome is another way to say irritating or annoying, and elevator music is the type of music you hear in elevators, or sometimes when you make a phone call to customer services or a helpline. They say you're in a queue and they put you on hold, and they play this type of music on the phone, which I think a lot of people find very annoying and irritating. Finally, we say, I trust you will find my feedback useful. This is a slightly more formal way of saying, I hope you will find my feedback useful. Okay, and finally, we end off with yours faithfully. This is because we don't know the person who we are writing to. Okay, and the final part is the writing of an article. So Things You Should Know is a website that accepts short articles from members of the public on subjects of popular interest. You have been asked to contribute an article on the subject of public surveillance systems. You have already done some research on the subject in note and diagram form. Use information from your research notes to help write an article that is both informative and interesting. Suggested time is 20 minutes and write between 180 and 220 words. Okay, so don't write any less than 180. So you want the marks for task fulfillment. And the key thing to keep in mind here is that your writing should be informative and interesting. Okay, and then you have some notes. So notes on public surveillance systems and CCTV cameras, which stands for closed circuit television cameras used in public areas, the increasing number of private homes installing CCTV. Then you have the benefits, which is the positive things, allows monitoring of public safety and can provide evidence in criminal cases. And on the other hand, the drawbacks, which are the negative things, which are a threat to individual liberty and intrusion into individual privacy. And these are the notes that you have to put into the essay too. Right. So, as it's an article, we suggest that you use some title for the article. It doesn't say this in the British Council guidelines, but we think it's something that they are looking for. I think if you look at the internet or in a magazine, they always start with a title. So, would you be less likely to commit a crime if you knew you were being filmed? These days, it's pretty safe to assume that almost everything we do is recorded. What with ever cheaper technology and the miniaturization of recording devices, CCTV surveillance systems have become so commonplace that we barely notice them. And it's not just in public areas. Many homeowners are having security cameras installed. So the first line, this is our hook. Would you be less likely to commit a crime if you knew you were being filmed? So that question is a device to hook or to capture the attention of the readers. Many people feel reassured in terms of safety by the streets being constantly monitored. Video footage is increasingly used as evidence in criminal cases and can provide a reliable alternative to eyewitnesses' possibly faulty memories. However, opinion is divided. Pressure groups argue that our civil liberties are under threat and that having no privacy is far too high a price to pay. Okay. So here we've got some of the positive things. So people feel reassured in terms of safety, and video footage is being increasingly used in criminal courts and criminal cases as they provide a reliable alternative to eyewitnesses who sometimes they forget what really happened. Then we got the however, which contrasts with the negative. The pressure groups argue that our civil liberties are under threat and having no privacy is far too high a price to pay. So in the next paragraph, we're going to put the numerical information into note form. Just to remind you, here it is so you can see it. What's really interesting though is the relationship or lack of one between cameras per capita and crime. Statistics show that Japan has the fewest CCTV cameras but also the lowest crime rate, while crime is highest in London, although there are many more cameras. Beijing falls between the two, both in terms of CCTV and crime. So it's difficult to come to any solid conclusions, though it's tempting to extrapolate the fact that the Japanese seem to be more law-abiding than the Brits. Well, that's the end of the writing. We hope that you found it useful and informative. And if you like the video, then please subscribe to our channel. Feel free to leave a like, a comment, and we will aim to get back to you as soon as possible. Remember, on our website, www.aptistutor.com, you will find lots more information about the Aptis exam. Okay, take care and stay safe, and we'll be uploading another video next week.